Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Glad to have this man on. His name is John Catsimatidis. He's the CEO of Red Apple Group. He's also an author. Catsimatidis.com is the website. The owner, very famously, of WABC in New York. John, how are you? Good to see you.
I am good, and thank you for having me on today. And, our job is to get the truth out. And,
Yes.
That's what we do every day.
You do, and your reputation certainly precedes you. That's exactly what you're going for in New York. And thank God you've got WABC in New York. Otherwise, I think the people of New York would not get the truth. It's such a conglomeration of lies and people trying to direct the city a different way. John, what's it like living there right now? My friend Curtis Leawood tells me, Joe, don't come. Don't come here right now. It's rough in New York. What's it like living there?
It is rough in New York. I will tell you, I don't worry about myself. The joke I tell, I carry a Rocky Colavito bat. Those bats were pretty big, if you remember. But the subways are not getting better, and I'm concerned that the budget they just passed in New York State is hurting. They did not do enough to protect the people of New York. In the last 24 months, 484,000 New Yorkers have moved out of New York.
Wow.
Now, the average pay of those 484,000 that moved out was 148,000 a month. How? Well, and they're passing budgets that are even higher. So who's going to pay these taxes? And that I am worried. I grew up in New York. I love New York. I'm worried about New York City. I'm worried about New York State because on my 5 o'clock show that I do on WABC, you know what music we played? The Exodus music.
Wow.
People are moving.
Yeah.
And if they don't straighten out keeping people safe, guess what? The Exodus is going to continue.
It's going to. It's John Catsimatidis. Go to Catsimatidis.com. Get his book. It's called How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common-Sense Billionaire. I'm from Metro New York originally, from Copiague, Amityville, and Long Island. I love the city. I love being there. As I said, Curtis said, don't come here now. I was also a TV news anchor in Albany for 3 years. Albany's connected to Detroit, the 6 and 11 o'clock guy on the CBS there. And I'll never forget, just for no reason at all, John, the state took an extra 8% of my pay. And I was thinking to myself, well, what are we doing? Why would I ever take this job, pay this state tax, pay this federal tax? If you happen to work in the city, which I didn't, then you pay an even higher tax. I'm in Texas now. I get to keep on.
The Exodus is continuing.
Right.
The Exodus is continuing. I was talking to a friend of mine from San Francisco this morning.
Right.
San Francisco is a vast wasteland.
Yes.
And what's happening, unless we straighten out what's going on, our big cities, our big democratic cities, they're becoming vast wastelands. I understand San Francisco is the cellular traffic. That's another way to measure what's going on.
Okay.
The cellular traffic in San Francisco is down to 31%.
Wow.
Of pre-COVID. So what does that tell you? The business people are not there. The people are not there. They're leaving. I mean, at what point do you have to wake up? Instead of, some of these people are supporting the woke economics.
Yeah.
They're tiptoeing through the tulips. Enough with tulips. Well,
I'm with you. I could not agree more. John, as we look at it, in the early 90s, we know that the city finally had enough. The state finally had enough. Elected Rudy, elected George Pataki. And with those guys in charge, the state got that much better. Taxes went down, crime went down, the city got cleaned up. Are we at that inflection point now in New York? Will they do something different? Why would you elect Eric Adams? It makes me crazy.
Eric Adams is trying. I have to defend him. He's trying.
Okay.
But Albany, Governor Hochul has been wiped out by the state Senate and the state Assembly, and we're in deep crap right now because if they pass the budget, what they're supposed to be doing the next couple of days, and it is not enough in there to keep our people safe. The Exodus. Where's the Exodus music? The Exodus music is going to keep going.
Right. I couldn't agree more. It's John Catsimatidis. Go to Catsimatidis.com. CEO, Red Apple Group.
My book.
Yeah,
I grew up in New York. And you know who's buying my book lately, Joe?
Who?
Grandfathers and fathers and mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers. You know why? They want their children to see what is possible in America.
Well, the children. I want them to read the book. It's called "How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common-Sense Billionaire." But I want to throw it at you this way. I saw Bernie Sanders yesterday being interviewed by Chris Wallace, and Sanders said we've got to tax through the nose anybody who's got $1 billion. And Chris Wallace said, well, so 999 million is okay with you, but $1 billion is too much. And Bernie Sanders, in his whacked out brain, said, I think you can live fine on 999 million. John, you've worked very hard for what you have. I worked very hard for what I have. Millions and millions of Americans have worked very hard. Yet there are people with the mindset who think I can take Catsimatidis' money because I think I can. Doesn't matter what he earned. Doesn't matter that he made value out of something. Doesn't matter that he's in this level because he's worked his face off. He owes me that money. What do you say to him?
Joe, they're trying to destroy the United States of America. Bottom line. Yeah. Venezuela. It was the fifth wealthiest country in the world. It was the wealthiest country in South America. In 20 years, that the socialists took over Venezuela in 20 years, guess what? It became another Cuba.
Right.
Nobody's breaking in to go into Cuba. Nobody's breaking in to go into Venezuela.
Right.
The American people have to realize enough is enough, and we have to make sure that our country is safe and good for all Americans, not good for the 5 million or 10 million people that are coming in from South America.
Right.
We cannot take care of the whole world.
It's
true.
We
got to take care of the American citizens first.
Well, John, I'm here in Texas. You don't believe what's happening in Texas. The border has anywhere between 100,000 and 700,000 people ready to come in May 11th when Title 42 goes away. We're in deep stuff. We're in really big trouble here. So how do we make a change? You and I agree on everything. Rudy and I agree on everything. Curtis and I agree on everything. How do we make change? We're talking about it, which is good. But how do we get people to the polls to stop electing people that are lying to them?
Absolutely correct. Well, in New York City, this November, we have 51 city council seats going. And we're going to mount a war. It's either common sense or no common sense.
Right.
You know, they want to defund the police. Certain city council people want to defund the police. You know what I told Mayor Adams, and you know what I told everybody? I said the city council people that want to defund, take the cops out of their council district.
Yep.
And put them into the council district that doesn't want to defund.
Smart.
Okay? Let all their people in that city council district know, oh, your city council person doesn't want police. When you call 911, don't expect anybody to come.
And that would teach the lesson. It's the same thing with Kamala Harris saying, let's ban this and ban that. And my answer is, well, are you going to give up your 24/7 armed detail? Of course she's not. But she wants the regular people out there to believe that guns are bad, protection is bad, police are bad. It doesn't make any sense.
If I was mayor, yeah. What I would do, I'd make sure that if the city council person didn't vote for common sense and to keep people safe, then reduce the amount of police in her council district.
Right.
See if the people like that.
And that would really make a reaction. That would make them change their tune. It happened in Minneapolis, John. Minneapolis said, let's defund the police. They did. Then crime shot through the roof, and the city council called the police chief in and said, why is crime going up? The police chief said, are you kidding? You defunded us. You got to give us the money back. You have to have police. You're right. If the people on the council, if the people in the governor's office, if the people in Congress feel the same fear that Americans feel when there's crime running rampant, maybe they'll make change. It's John Catsimatidis. Get his book. It's called How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common-Sense Billionaire. John, you sound like a common-sense billionaire, but there are a lot of people watching and listening who are going to say,
want common sense.
Well, the people are going to say, what does he know? He doesn't live like I live. Tell them why you do know.
Why do I what?
The people watching and listening might say he's a billionaire. He doesn't know how we live. Why should I listen to him? Tell them why you do understand.
I forgot where I came from.
Yeah.
I grew up in Harlem. I worked for the last 40 years for the Police Athletic League, trying to help the kids of the inner city, along with the district attorney at that time. He was district attorney for 50 years, Bob Morgenthau, who believed in law and order. The common sense Democrats, and there are a few of them left, don't have the courage to stand up against the crazies.
Right.
And all I say to all my common sense Democrat friends, and I have a lot of them, stand up. Enough is enough. Let's not lose New York. Let's not lose New York City, New York State.
I couldn't agree more. It's John Catsimatidis. Again, get this book. It's called How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common-Sense Billionaire. He's the CEO of the Red Apple Group, an author, a great talk show host, and he owns WABC in New York. You didn't know this about me, but in 2003, I did a show on WABC in New York. I was in for Steve Maltzberg, and I got a call from Phil Boise. I was a TV news anchor in Albany. I drove down, and I did the show on a Saturday. I love the station, a great heritage
all
station.
I can say is, come on back.
I would love to.
We need you here. We need some more common sense.
Well, John, we'll certainly talk about that. I grew up.
Phil Boyce, I went with Phil Boyce and Curtis to Cuba. Let them tell you those stories someday.
I will. I'll definitely do that. John, you and I both grew up listening to AM radio. And we realized that we could learn a lot from it, get news from it, get opinion from it. Then we decided, I think, that we wanted to be on the radio because of that. AM radio might be going away in cars. It doesn't take up much space.
It's not going away.
Okay,
what they want to do. Let me tell you what Ford and General Motors and Mercedes wants to do.
Go ahead.
They instead of giving you a $200 radio in your car, they want to give you a complicated system that they're going to charge you $9.99 every month.
Wow.
To listen to AM radio. And you know what happens if the grid goes down? You're not going to have any radio. You're not going to have a car to drive. You're not going to be able to cook your food because Governor Hochul now is getting rid of gas stoves.
Right.
So, you know what? I think the Chinese are going to win the war if God forbid there's ever a war.
No, I'm with you. I couldn't agree more. We get our emergency alerts, the emergency system, whether it's weather or it's something else going on, from AM radio. Plus, there are great conservative voices on AM radio all over the place. John, do you think
97%
do you think this is
are able to listen to AM radio, and they want to take it away?
Do you think this is a play to get rid of conservative voices or not?
I think it's a combination of a play to get rid of AM radio for the voice and a combination of getting $9.99 a month from every American and make them poorer.
I mean, and at the end of the day, if AM goes away, the entire landscape changes because they can control everything else that's on it. If AM I've got 170 stations. If AM radio goes away, I lose 150 of them, which doesn't make any sense.
We're not going away. Guess what? We're going to outlive the politicians in Washington because they're going to go away in 2024, and we're going to have some common sense people in 2024.
Yes.
Enough is enough. Let's vote for America. Vote for common sense.
John, you heard the reason why they say they want to get rid of it, right? Because electric cars, allegedly, there's interference in the speakers from AM radio. I think
our old friends used to say it. They're full of crap.
and fix it. Elon Musk is that smart and that rich. Fix it. You don't have to have interference from AM radio. I appreciate what you do.
FCC tells me it's a $30 wrap around the antenna. Okay,
That's
$30. They don't want the $30. They want $9.99 a month every month from you.
In other words, they don't want us just to get it for free out of the air. They want to make it a subscription service like they've done on almost everything in our life.
Absolutely. It's all about the money.
It's John Catsimatidis. He's the CEO of the Red Apple Group. Before I let you go, I got to ask you this. Is it true that you were looking to do a talk show on a New York radio station and there just wasn't any openings and you said, well, let me buy WABC?
No, Jerry Crowley at Salem, along with Phil Boyce, after I ran for mayor in 2013, gave me a 1-hour show. It became a 2-hour show. It became a 3-hour show. And I yelled at Jerry Crowley when WOR was sold for $30 million. I said, why didn't you call me? I would have wrote the check.
Right.
And then when Cumulus came across and says, we're selling WABC, I didn't do any due diligence. I just wrote the check.
Wow. What a great move, too. I mean, honestly, when you see WABC, everybody on the globe knows what that is. And John, I listen to it through the app all the time, even here from Texas, and I love the content as well.
Come on back.
Well,
we need you in New York, too.
Hey, listen, I would love to. I'm a New York kid. I want to be able to go there, and Curtis says I've got to wear a full-body prophylactic if I go to New York City right now. That's how dangerous it is.
I will get Curtis's people to protect you.
It sounds good. It's John Catsimatidis. Do me a favor and get this book, How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common-Sense Billionaire. And clearly, just from this meeting here, I can tell you're more than common sense. You're a guy that loves New York, you love America, and you love success. And not just for yourself, for everybody.
Let's not turn the United States of America. Let's not turn the United States into Venezuela. And I beg everybody common sense.
John, do me a favor. Would you come back on the program again?
Anytime.
I really appreciate you. It's John Catsimatidis. Get this book, How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common-Sense Billionaire. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. We're back after this. Stay right here.